welcome to Wendy's Colouring, and today we're looking at, goodies, the brand new Derwent Chromaflow 150 sets. Yay! Didn't think they were ever going to release it. Kept us holding on for a while, haven't they, for some more of these to come. And I've got to be honest, this is a chunky tin. Feels quite thick compared to a normal Derwent tin. I don't think they do any more than 100 in any of their other sets anymore. So I think this is actually their biggest set of pencils now. I know they used to do the artists in a lot more, but I think they've reduced those down as well now. So I think this is actually their biggest set of pencils for the Chromaflows. It's been a bit of a battle getting these pencils, I have to say. I think Cult Pens were the first place that I saw actually advertising these, that they would have some stock, and they were doing a nice wooden box set, the Derwent wooden boxes, of all the new ones, so minus the 72 that we've already got and had for a couple of years. And I think that was about 125, and I was tempted, but if I'm honest, I'm not a great lover of wooden boxes. I don't really use them. My craft room's pretty full now. I'm not going to keep them in a box, and then I've got a box. What am I going to do with it? Kind of felt like it'd just be a bit of a waste, really. Try and get rid of a bit of that reflection. So I didn't get those. I regretted not getting those a little bit later. The big set, I think, was 218 or something like that for this tin from Cult Pens. And again, that's a bit pricey, isn't it? So I thought, no, I'm not getting that either. Amazon were advertising these for 150, but they didn't have any stock. They didn't seem to think they'd have any stock till May, so I didn't order them from them either at the time. And then I thought, I'll wait for Derwent's site. They'll get some stock in. It's their product, isn't it? They'll get some. And then when I looked at it, when it finally popped up on their page on Friday, I nearly died of shock. £277 for this set of 150 Chromaflow pencils. Now, I quite like my Chromaflows. They're quite nice pencils. They are not £277 worth of nice pencils, so that was a no. I am not getting them at that price. However, yesterday when I looked on Amazon, Sunday afternoon, I noticed they had stock of these delivered for today for 150, which was just about all I was going to pay for these, because even that's not cheap, is it? Let's be honest. So yes, lovely Chromaflows. We have them. Softcore colour pencils, highly pigmented for striking vibrancy that stands out even on dark paper. Creamy core that can deliver smooth, rapid lay down that can handle pressure and resist breakage, apparently. Is what they're saying. So, yeah, I was quite looking forward to having a look at these. I do have a set already of the 72s that live in my colour yard pencil case that are, quite well used. Some of them very well used. So as you can see, I was like, well, I need some of the greens anyway. Beauty of obviously Derwent here in the UK. Mostly their pencils are open stock. So once you've made this kind of purchase, hopefully you can just open them and buy them open stock. I don't think these will all be available open stock for a little bit of time. It normally takes them a little bit of time to get stock into the country and into the system, doesn't it? No idea how much or when these will be available in other countries. Obviously, I'm in the UK, so we've probably got them first as they are made in Britain. And I thought it might be quite nice just to check. Well, I made this massive tin. It just feels massive, this tray. So what colour shall I have out of my old set? So I have filched out of my old set one just to see. I doubt there'll be any differences. Let's have a look. I'll go in a little bit. They look pretty similar to me, don't they? Both made in Britain. Oh, we've got made in England on the new ones. Now, they made quite a big deal about having made in Britain on these before, and now I've gone back down to being in England again. Don't know why they've changed that. Maybe they're making them at a different site. I do not know. Feels like the main name has got a little bit thicker. Don't know whether it picks up or not. Really, only marginally, but it's just a little bit easier to read. And obviously, made in England is a little bit bigger than made in Britain. Names and numbers look pretty much the same. Obviously, dipped ends, colour swatched ends. Looks to be the same pine wood, which is not always a good thing, is it? Let's be honest. They're ups and downs, the Chromaflow, aren't they? Obviously, I think these are mainly made to compete with Prisma, hence this 150 set. Now that we're looking at, let's go out a little bit so I can lift these trays out. I've been dying to know how many actual trays there are in here. So we have 2. Is there another one? Oh, I think there's another one. So we've got 2. Let's have a quick look at your colours. And surprisingly, they seem to have arrived pretty okay from my Amazon battering. It was here this morning at 8 o'clock outside my door in the morning. I was like, what on earth? My Amazon driver normally rocks up 4 o'clock, something like that in the afternoon. But no, today, clearly they were on it. I was glad to see they were on board. Oh yes. Yeah, it feels like a lot of pencils at the moment, but yeah, I think my thoughts. I've been using these, well, my old ones a little bit over the last couple of months anyway, and I do like them as a pencil. They are nice, but they do break. I seem to have a few pencils in my pencil case. I have a few that are fine, completely fine, and then I have a few that just break. It's always the greens that I use a lot as well, which is a little bit frustrating. I have had some of these that are off-centre cores on my old ones. Obviously I'm only just looking at these now. That one looks a bit off-centre looking at it. It's a little bit off. Again, in such a narrow pencil, it's not the end of the world because it'll still always sharpen really nicely, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I have had some breakage in them. I don't love this thin barrel that these Chromaflows are in. I prefer their traditional thicker pencil. I think it feels more comfortable in the hand. Let me pause, I'll have to shut the blind. We're getting a lot of, there we go, bit less shadow and reflection. But yeah, I don't love the thinness of these. I don't understand why they have to be thin. Maybe it's something to do with the core in them and the wood mix, that works better. I don't know. But yeah, I do prefer a thicker, traditional Derwent sized pencil. I think these are a little bit uncomfortable in the hand at that thinness, but obviously Prisma are this thin, and obviously I think that's the market they are aiming for. Interested to see how well these compare in terms of colour palette. There's a couple of pinks that I really like out of the Prisma, and I don't think these are quite close enough for my liking, but we'll see as we get going. I doubt there's any more pinks on there, is there? No, there's more like lilac-y tones there. We shall see. Anyway, so I'm quite interested in seeing what they're like. So I have printed out Derwent's swatch sheet, obviously black and white, not a huge amount of leaves, but I did want the names of these, so I've then put these into, let me get rid of that, into a swatch sheet then for me to have a go at. This is just one of my own little drawings, and then obviously I've pinched all the names off there, and I've already, again, just to spend time while I was waiting for these to arrive, swatched my current ones. So this is the range. If you have the 72 set, that's what it looks like, and you can kind of see where they're adding into the 150s. We seem to have a big chunk here between pink and lilac, which is why I was looking at it in the actual trays, because I'm interested to see what this all looks like. Quite a lot of mauves, heathers, amethyst, some more purples into this set, some yellows. Overall, this 72 set I thought was reasonably balanced already. Maybe a little bit thin on greens, isn't it? But as you can see, we're getting some more greens: olive yellow, key lime, springbud, overlean, light olive we're getting in, chai, a leaf green. That's not right, leaf green's in the one that I already have, isn't it? I think I've done leaf green in light olive or something stupid there. We definitely already have a leaf green in the current one, so I've done something wrong on my swatch. Figure it out when I'm getting going. Yeah, greys. Again, 72's had quite a lot of greys, but we seem to be getting some more. So we've got neutral, charcoal, platinum, Oxford grey, winter lake, moon rock, fell mist, rose quartz, licorice, willow, nutshell, bourbon adding in down there. And it looks like, I'm presuming because they're at the bottom with the metallics, we've got two more metallics: silver mint and ice blue, and some more reds here at the front. So there's a little bit more going into each section. Obviously quite a few blues in there as well, but a massive chunk here in kind of pink, lilac, lavender kind of section. So interested to see how that goes and how these add on into the set. I don't want to touch my new pencils because they're perfect in this tray stage, but needs to be done, doesn't it? So I want something to lean on. I'm probably going to fast forward you through all the swatch because this is going to take me a while. I've got, well, same again, and a couple more, haven't I, to get up to 150. So 28, 78, something like that, isn't it? So yeah, got quite a few to do. So I shall, yeah, see you at the end. It'll be only a very brief swatch for you because, like I say, I shall put it on super fast forward. I will be sharpening with my paint covered Dial 133, just so you know what I'm using. This is just a thick photocopy paper that I'm printing on. It's one of my Navigator ones. Nothing special, but it is reasonably smooth, which I think does suit these pencils a little bit better. So yeah, I shall see you at the end, and we can have a look what it actually looks like, and I might have a look at it next to a Prisma swatch as well, and just see what the two palettes look like together. Okay, see you at the end. Okay, so yeah, we have a yay, completed swatch. It's taking a bit of time. Try and get you in a little bit more. In fact, we'll go in a lot more, and then you can have a better idea of what we're looking at. So yeah, I'm quite impressed really. I think possibly some of the yellows are a bit samey. Like this chunk feels quite similar up here. But I quite like some of the additions down here. I think Sienna was new, that was quite nice as well. Yeah, I was quite impressed with a good chunk of them really. Carrot, I think was in the Artist, but I'm not sure it was an addition in the Inktense maybe as well, but I quite like Carrot. It's a little bit of a different shade of orange. I think that's the thing I will say looking at this. I think rather than, oh, let's do a palette of colours that's exactly like Prismacolor, they have kind of kept with a lot of the colours that are traditionally colours they would use in their lines. I don't think they've deliberately kind of gone out their way to make a set of pencils that look exactly like Prismacolors. I don't think they've done that looking at it. I can see quite a few familiar names that I know from different Derwent sets that I have. I definitely like the additions to the greens. Olivine, that's quite a nice one. Light olive were quite nice. Yeah, there's some nice additions. I wasn't too fussed with this Lincoln green. Didn't feel like it had a huge amount of pigment in there. Took quite a bit of work in. You know, kind of not seeing it very well, are you? But yeah, it took quite a bit of work in, and it's a bit pale. It's quite an odd green tone. Maybe I might use it, I don't know. But yeah, overall I like the green selection there is now. It feels a little bit more natural. I quite like some of the additions that are in there. They have added some more browns, which I think this set did need. It was a bit thin on the browns. Still a good chunk of greys. Obviously Prismas have a lot of greys. Don't think there's quite as many in here, but I'm totally okay with that. And then you've got those extra little metallics on the bottom, so you've got silver mint and ice blue. Those were both super soft pencils actually. Compared to the rest, it was a bit more noticeable. But yeah, I was quite.
I found this on the web.
Excuse my watch butting in. No one wanted to hear that, didn't they? Sorry. But yeah, overall, I was quite impressed with it really. I think the one thing that I can see is missing is this pink out of my Prismacolors. There's not really anything like that, and I do like this pink in particular. So pink, $9.29. Even with the new additions, I don't think they're filling in that particular pink. There's nothing quite like that really. Yeah, so they haven't got that. And yeah, Deco Pink 1014. There are a few light ones, like they've added in light mauve, which is quite nice. Will it work as well as Deco Pink? I don't know. I suppose I use those two together quite a lot. And whilst there's some lovely pinks in here, they have the cerise pink. It's beautiful, really nice addition. And I like a good chunk of this section that's all new down here. Some very usable colours. Yeah, I suppose in the doing is more important, isn't it? But yeah, there's quite a few pretty comparable kind of reds going on. I'm going to miss that. I think that's my obvious hole. I've got the original lavender and lilac. Is it them two that they change? I'm sure some of you know, but those are the original ones. I haven't got the new ones yet. Not sure how well. Kind of think orchids quite similar maybe. I don't know, maybe I need to play about with them a little bit, but I think overall they're quite comparable sets, but different, if that makes any sense. I don't think, like I say, I can't turn the page, I actually want to turn. I don't think they've deliberately kind of copied the colour palette of Prisma. It feels slightly different, and like I say, there's quite a few names in here that have been added that I know from the artist set or from Inktense or Lightfast. I have all of those, and so there was quite a few familiar names in there that have been additions in this set. There are new colours in there as well, because obviously there's 150, but overall, yeah, they feel very familiar. They're quite a nice selection. Yeah, I have enjoyed having a look through these. I think they'll be fun to use. Oyster hardly shows up. Maybe if I was working on dark paper, that might be more useful, I think. But yeah, there's some nice selections. I've had no breakage issues in the main. They've pretty much sharpened first time. I think, was it Licorice? Is it that one? Yeah, Licorice was the only one that when I sharpened it, it went off straight away, but then I sharpened it the second time and it seems fine now. But all the others have sharpened. Have I got them all on? Yep. Sharpened pretty nicely, no issues. They have arrived quite nicely in this monster tin that they've popped them in. Feels like a lot of pencils at the moment in this set. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with them. I quite like the colour palette. I have been, like I say, I've been using my 72 set quite a bit this month. I've not done a huge amount of colouring this month, but when I have used those. I've got a couple of whips on the go using my Chromaflows. So I've got this one in Gabby Wolf's Mini Mini 3 on the go at the moment. I've done a little bit more in the background since last time it was on screen. I mean, I've done a little bit in the windows and things as well. So yeah, it'd be quite nice, particularly the greens, because that's actually where I'm up to on this page. That I've got quite a bit of the greenery to do and the stonework. So I think actually the additions in this set should make that a little bit more interesting to work on, because I was finding I'd started on these little ferny things, but I'm still kind of using the same green because the greens were a little bit unnatural that were in the 72. There was only really a couple that I particularly liked, so I think I was layering a little bit of yellow over it as well, so I'm hoping that'll make using these a lot better. But yeah, I do like the Chromaflows. This is obviously Amazon paper, and I think softer pencil works better on Amazon paper. I have tended to use my little white, is it in here? Oh yeah, I've tended to use my old little Prismacolor white that I have in this little set, squeezed in on the end with it as well. I don't know, I do still prefer that white to the Chromaflow white. Don't know why. Maybe it's because the mix is slightly different in it and it just reacts slightly differently than the Chromaflow, and when I'm trying to flatten it a little bit I find it a bit more useful in that respect. But yeah, it's a nice set of pencils. I do really like the colour palette. I think there's some really beautiful additions. Chromaflow I think is kind of one of those pencils whether you either love or hate it, isn't it? It's they're a little bit more of a battle to work with, but they are softer. They're a bit more comfortable in the hand. They do have a really nice pigmentation in them. You know, when you pick dark colours out of this set, you will get dark colours, and there are a few nice dark colours that they've added. There was a couple of nice dark purples down here that I noticed in particular that were really nice as well. So you know, you get a good quality pencil, I think, but within the limitations of a soft pencil. So you're going to get some breakage. It's not going to keep a super sharp point on it for very long. I like a point on my pencils, I can't lie, but you'll be sharpening a bit more with something like this. But it's easier on the hand, it's softer, they blend a little bit more easily. They are different to Prisma, they don't feel the same when you're working with them, but they work alongside them very nicely, and I think for us here in the UK this set makes a lot of sense at a bit more affordable price. But yeah, I've enjoyed having a first look at it. Hopefully it gives you a better idea about the colours and what you're adding in and whether that's of value to you or not. I certainly like a good chunk of this and a good chunk of the greens that they've added in, and the browns that I think were a little bit missing. Probably yellows and oranges we were okay for in this set, but all the other sections I feel they've added to quite nicely. What's your thoughts on these? Is it a set you're going to get hold of? Let me know. Interested to hear your opinions on these beauties that have surprised me by arriving today. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you on the next one. Bye bye.